Good morning, everyone. This is Richard Bentley, and I'll be speaking this morning with Denise Sawyer, who has a website and a social media business called socialmediametoo.com. And Denise will be kind of giving me a tutorial on the nuances of using social media to increase your business. Also, behind the scenes, we have Peter Brusso, who's handling the technical aspects of this podcast. It's a little different than the ones we have done, so Peter will be in the background for this one. So, good morning, Denise.
Good morning, Richard. Thank you for having me again on your show.
It's our pleasure.
Well,
So,
go ahead.
so I was just going to kind of ask you to, you know, go through how you see the social media interactions and what a person who is trying to grow their business and grow their contact base should be doing with social media. So I'm going to sit back and let you take it from here, and I'll jump in with any questions.
Okay. Well, first of all, we're sharing your Google Plus account to start off with here because I'm going to walk you through uh, the possibility of trying to get more followers besides your normal friends, family, and other people in your circles. The question comes up quite a bit about how can I get more people to follow me. This isn't a tried and truth 100% guarantee you're going to get everyone that you decide to follow you, but it's a start. And so I'm going to kind of walk you through right now on Google Plus because that was one of your questions, Dick, that you wanted me to show you how to do that. Now, if you look in the top left-hand corner of your Google Plus page, there's a tab below that says Home with a little arrow. If you click on that arrow, please.
Okay.
Okay, and see where about the fifth thing down it says Communities.
Yeah.
Click on that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Right.
Now, they're just going to put up any kind of community. They want you to discover communities. You can also search for a specific type of community. If you look at the blue tab over to the right where it says create community at the top, and next to it there's a little
Right.
search box. So
Right.
depending on what your business is or your brand, you're going to want to target a community that possibly may be interested in your product or service. Um,
Right.
Maybe type in small businesses, for example, because you that was something that you might want to target. Let's see what comes up when you do
Right.
that. And then hit enter.
Yeah.
And I think we spelled
Oh.
okay. So right here, there's a community called small business. Click on that one. They got quite a number of members and quite a number
Wow.
of posts. Okay, so you can
Yeah.
join this community. You would click on Join Community over there to the
Right.
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 All right. Now they give you a warning here about advertising your services. You know, you have to read what their requirements are in each of these
Right.
communities, but you don't necessarily want to be promoting your business necessarily. Like I have mentioned before, social media is a conversation. This is what social media is about. It's being social with a targeted audience or potential clients, and just interacting with them and engaging with them to build up a loyalty base. So
Right.
um, if this was a group that you wanted to do, sometimes they allow you to join. I don't see where there's a join button here. Did we click on
No.
that? Okay.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I did. I clicked on the
Okay.
join,
Okay.
and I've
So
got the post.
okay. So maybe like for instance, this first person that we see here has got a blog about how great leaders communicate.
Right.
Um, you could do you could post one of your blogs about scams. It's not
Right.
necessarily about your brand, but it's something that would maybe invite them to come back and look more into you, as to the
Right.
kind of content. So you want to go through each of these communities and look at, their requirements. If you want to join up. You can also follow them in some cases. There's a follow button, and you would put them, as somebody that you're following in your community of Google Plus circles. And this is a way for you to start establishing, who you are with these communities. And I recommend that
Right.
you actually take an active role in commenting on and looking at the articles or things that people post, just so they start saying, well, who is this guy? And he's,
Yeah.
bringing something to the table, and I like what he has to say about this. Let me look further into him. So
Right.
it social media, a lot of people don't realize that it requires a lot of commitment and time to build up a base for yourself and a name for yourself, and you have to consistently do it. I know it's frustrating, and you may only start off with a few followers at first, but once people see that you're committed to being involved with them, that's going to build up a loyalty following for you, because they'll say, "Hey, I really like what Richard Bentley is saying about this particular subject, and I liked all his comments so far. Let me see what this guy is really about." And they may go to your personal, your business page of Google Plus and
Right.
start following you. So that's what you do.
Right.
You want to hit the back button up on the top left corner there under your Google, and so we can see what these communities are again. But let's just kind of scroll through and see what we have here
Right.
for small businesses.
Well, this self-employed would be interesting
Okay, so an entrepreneurs
to
community, that
focus on.
look at how many members there are. Look how many
Wow.
posts
Yeah.
they have. This
Yeah.
is a big
Wow.
community. Now, you could also get pretty lost in those communities too, because when people see these big numbers, they think, oh, I'm going to get in on there. But it depends. It sounds like it's a pretty active community. Let's click on that
Yeah.
and look at it for a second.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say that with that many members in posts, you really have to, have attention grabbing headlines to get somebody to open yours up because, no one's going to sit there and go through every one of them. So,
Exactly.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Yep. So, you can ask to join. See the orange button on the top right hand corner,
Yeah.
but look
Yeah.
at what, it says, please read before posting.
Right.
They can block you if they don't like things that you're saying, or if you're out of line. They want people that are serious about, obviously, making contributions that are helpful to all of these people in this particular community. Um, that would be something that you might want to join. But
Yeah.
this is in your free time. We're not going to do this, but I,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I,
No, we'll be here all
yeah,
day.
we'll
Yeah.
be here all day. But I just wanted to show you how you get to it, and everyone. I would recommend, taking the time to go into the communities, look at what they're offering, see if it's something that, you can contribute to and might benefit others, and vice versa. And, once they start seeing you're being actively involved and engaging with the group, then they're more likely to go that extra step and look into, who you are and what your business is.
Right. Can I ask you a question on the first item about the community? It says peer-reviewed, no link dumping. What does that mean?
Um, I guess they're saying, your peers, the people that you, um, I guess that I've looked at what your link is, but
Yeah.
they don't want you to be dumping links on here. Let's look,
Okay.
scroll down and let's look and see what other people are posting here.
Okay.
Click on the read more section of this Chinmay Swami, where it says read more. Let's look at that and see what he
Yeah.
does. Okay, so you see there's no links on this whatsoever. Now,
Right.
let's just see if that's a trend, amongst the rest of these people who are
Well, let's
posting.
try Anthony here. No, there's none there.
Yeah. Now, there is a link
Yeah.
to a blog, though, that you'll see here. So,
Whereabouts?
the Alina over to the right, the young lady to the right of Anthony
Oh, okay.
Kristen,
To the right.
okay,
Yeah.
she does
Yeah.
have a link.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
She was on the other group.
okay,
She's the lady we looked at in the other group, I believe.
okay.
Yeah.
So it's a good
Okay.
idea to see what others are doing first and then making a
Yeah.
decision. Is this something,
Okay.
that I can still get my point across or add some value to their cause, their community, and then, be involved in actually reading some of these posts, and if it's something that you like, comment on it,
Yeah. Right.
or plus one it. Um,
Right.
People like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Did you have any more
All right.
questions about that specifically?
No, you answered my questions, like you say, I'm gonna, take some time to really, look at these groups and see which ones fit what I'm about, and that I could be a contributing member of, and not just be, someone that, say dumps a link and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, and don't
you answered my questions. Thank you.
and yeah, and don't go crazy with thinking, okay, I've got to get 100 people. I got to be in a
Yeah.
100 communities, because
Yeah.
ask yourself the question: are you going to be actively involved in giving your
No.
2 cents in 100 communities? No.
No. No.
So start off with a few small ones, and then read their articles,
Yeah.
contribute, engage. You might get a
Yeah.
connection. You may
Yeah.
not, but don't get discouraged, because with social media, just like SEO, it's not something that's necessarily going to be an overnight success. It takes time to
Yeah.
build it, and but they have to see that you are consistently
Right.
active and engaged.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
we're going to stop sharing your screen, and I'm going to share Peter Brusso's screen,
Okay.
his Twitter screen, because I wanted to show everyone what we did with that.
Okay.
All right. So if you can stop your
Very
sharing,
good.
and then I will. All right.
Uh, okay, I stopped.
All right. All right. Let me know when you can see that.
I can see it.
Okay. Um, just to let everyone know, Peter had me set up his social media for his new website, which is the selfdefenseweaponsite.com. And this is his Twitter account. We are starting from scratch. And what I did was, he has followers on some of his other Twitter accounts, but specifically for this one, we wanted to grab people that we didn't have a connection with before. So, how did I go about doing that? Well, um, his self-defense tool falls under several categories of people that could possibly want to or would be interested in his particular product. And so what you do is up here, on the search little tab up here, you would put in, I started off with martial artists, for example. So let's martial arts, and we'll see what comes up with that. Okay, so here are some people that are involved in martial arts. Well, how do you choose which ones to follow and which ones not to follow? You kind of have to look at what they're about first. So again, this is time consuming, but it's worthwhile, because again, you don't not everyone's going to follow you back, but they have to follow you back in order for them to see your tweets. So you have to be very careful about who you're choosing. Do we think this is a Century Martial Arts? Our mission as Century is to have every individual experience the many benefits of martial arts. Um, I don't know if that's necessarily something that we would choose, but I'm just trying to give you all an example of how to go about searching for people to follow on your Twitter if you're trying to get more followers or people interested in your product. You'll also notice over here, Twitter will give you recommendations of people to follow based on who you are already following or the topics that you're already following. Um, so if we wanted to follow this Steve Scott, he's a urban another group that we're following are preppers, people that are have their bug out bags, and they're preparing for the end of the world or whatever may happen. Peter's tools can come in handy if they don't want to use a lethal weapon such as a gun or a knife, or it gives them another alternative to use his product. This gentleman is a dad, wildlife conservationalist, adventurer, TV producer, reformed. We can all read all this. If this is something that this might be someone that Peter may want to follow because he might, being a TV producer, he might be interested in Peter's background and may want to look and see what he's all about. So we might just go ahead and click and follow him. All right. But this is how I went about getting all of the people that Peter's following. And as a result, after 2 weeks of putting this site up, Peter has 102 followers. Now he's also following 382. So that obviously not everybody that we're following is following us, but this is pretty good as a start. Just not putting any of our friends, not putting people on his other Twitter accounts, and we continually update who to follow, and I continually look on a daily basis. I might add 5 or 10 people a day if I think that they fit might be interested in his product. In fact, one of the people that I had our site follow here for Peter sent him an email, and they have a store online and are interested in selling his products on their store. Would that have happened without us doing what we were doing? Maybe, maybe not. But this is pretty quick after only 2.5 weeks or so of being actively involved on Twitter to have that kind of a response already. The other thing that I recommend when you have followers, and I'm going to click on followers here because we obviously got a few new ones. If we check the person out and we want to follow them after reading what they're about, I highly recommend that you turn around and you thank the person for following you. And the way that you would do this is that you would click on this little arrow here, and I can send a direct message to this person. Okay. And I would type my little message. You're limited to 140 characters here, but you would say, thank you very much for following us on Twitter. We hope that you will find our tweets to be beneficial and fun regarding your self-defense needs. Something along that line. A lot of people have automated responses. And I guess if you are super busy, you're not going to have time. If you're huge, you're not going to have time to individually respond to each and every person that follows you. But when you're starting off, until you start building up that big of a base, I would recommend not doing the automated, because to me that just seems very impersonal. It's kind of like calling somebody and getting the automated phone response and not being able to speak with a live person. Is that appealing to most people? It's not appealing to me. I would much rather see that someone has taken time to point me out and look and say, thanks again for following us. I hope you get something out of what we bring to the table. I look forward to seeing you on Twitter or something along those lines. I would feel more valued by that person rather than getting an automated response. But I do understand also that a lot of people don't have that kind of time and do set up. You can set up an automated response on Twitter. Um,
Denise, if I could just jump in for a second, uh, based upon your inputs on the proper uh, social media etiquette, I guess I've been responding back on a personal basis to I have a much smaller number than Peters and than most people, but what I try and do is I thank them, and then I make a comment either about their tweet or their business or their description, or whatever it is,
right?
or in some cases, what I've done is I just thank you for joining. I say, listen, I'm looking forward to your comments on my posts, just to hopefully get it. And I've gotten some. Mostly, I get a response back from these people when you kind of personalize it a little bit.
Yes. Like we said, social media is a conversation. And that's the way businesses need to approach it. Yes, it is a means to advertise, but not everybody's going to want to be thrown advertisements in their face. They're just going to ignore it, and overlook it entirely. People are more interested in finding out about the person behind the product, what they bring to the table, if there's something some tips or information that will be useful to them. People appreciate that, and they appreciate the etiquette that you've shown, and I recommend everyone shows that. Hey, they made a choice to follow you, so I think it's only right. And we've kind of lost sight of this, I think, a lot in this world, that someone turns around and makes the same effort back to your follower to say thank you, and I'm going to look forward to looking at what your posts are, and vice versa. I think what you're doing is great, and obviously you saw the results of that. So,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know, don't look to be an overnight success. Again, a lot of these people that have like 40,000 followers or whatever, some people purchase followers, and get them not organically, if you will. They pay to get followers and make them look, puff them up to make them look good, but they're not really looking at their post necessarily. They're just people that were paid to get on a list, and they added them on as followers. So be aware of that. And that's the same for Facebook, as well as I'm not sure about Google Plus, but I know Facebook likes can be purchased as well. So I think you'll start small and work your way and be consistent. I think you're going to see that your base of and community of people that are following what you have to say will start growing, and you'll have a loyal following.
Yep. It's very good advice.
All right. So, any other questions about Twitter that I can help you with, Dick?
No, I really, you've answered the questions, and and you and I have spoken about them. I think the main takeaway I've gotten in my discussions with you about how to make social media a meaningful part of your business plan uh, was what you just said earlier, that it really is a conversation. It's a social conversation done electronically, and once I realized that, and I realized that for an awfully long time, I was just ignoring, not in the sense of ignoring because I didn't want to answer, but if someone made a comment on something I posted, I would just say, "Well, that's nice," and not respond back. And I think of all the opportunities I've missed to communicate with people on an ongoing basis. Since you talked to me, which was Monday afternoon, and we're now talking about Thursday morning.
Hmm.
And my numbers are, like I said earlier, are very small. I started out with Monday afternoon. I had 4 people following me, and as of this morning, I have 17 people following me. I was following 20 something people, and now I'm following 100 and something. And I'm going to every day continue to add following people that I think would be like-minded in in our interests.
Right.
I mentioned to you earlier, I had uh, followed a young lady who's a writer for the Desert Sun, which is a local paper here in Palm Springs area,
Hmm.
and she followed me right back, and I commented back to her, "Thanks for following me. I'm looking for to see reading your said your tweets." Well, in the local last night, she did a page article about a local restaurant where she wrote a review on it, and it was a big, huge review. And then further in, she had a very small article about identity theft surrounding the Coachella Fest out here in the
Hmm.
desert,
Hmm.
and how people are getting ripped off on that. And it just so happens, I blog weekly about identity theft, and I'm going to communicate with her back that I appreciated the tweet, and kind of indicate my interest in that subject. So it's amazing. I think you'll start finding yourself making digital friends, I guess is the right term for it,
Right.
that you communicate with on a, you'll probably never meet them and you'll never know them, but you get to have a digital friendship, and I think that's wonderful. So I think your advice is absolutely on the mark, and it doesn't take that much time, and but if you're going to do it right, like Denise said, do it with personal touch, and and I think you'll see immediate results. I did, so
Right.
I'm really excited about it.
Right. She might
So
be someone that you and Peter, you might want to invite her to be on a podcast about identity theft, since she did an
right.
article about it.
Yeah.
That might be something that both you and Peter could be involved with. I think
Yeah.
she might do
Yeah.
that, and a lot of
Yeah.
people like to.
That's a good thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you do your searches on Twitter, here too, you want to, like, for instance, we could put Palm Springs up, um, and you want to follow local townships, which include, their chamber of commerce's, any newspapers, things like that, because you want to follow them. And if they turn around and follow you, then you're going to be able to have a conversation with them. And a lot of times they do. Um, and it's a good idea to just be on top of what's going on locally, and getting local people. You could put, real estate agents in Palm Springs and see what comes up, or yeah, small business in Palm Springs, see what comes up, and start following some of those, because the more exposure you get locally, the better, obviously. But you also want to reach out to a larger community, than you wouldn't, narrow the search so
Right.
small. But it is important to uh, get your local following done first. Um,
Right.
that's what I would highly recommend. But I'm glad this is working for you, and if you see a tweet that you like, be sure and retweet it, which will go end up going on your tweet timeline, if you will. So people like that. They know that you're reading their stuff. They may be more inclined to turn around and start reading yours, or take notice of you if they haven't. Because as you can tell, in the time that we're talking, we've got 18 new tweets already on this tweet board of the self-defense weapons site. So it can be information overload, but you want to take the time to engage with the people that you are following, and look at what they have to say. If it's something that you really feel you want to share, then share it, and they'll probably do the same for you.
Well, that's great. I want to thank you for taking the time. Thank you personally for taking the time with me, and then for taking the time to do this today. I think the information is is invaluable, and I think if it's used properly, it's going to help people grow their business and be successful. And I also I just want to thank Peter for his behind-the-scenes technical work. I think this is a first for us, and as usual, he did a great job. And we missed his smiling voice on the podcast, but he'll be here the next time. And
Right.
Denise, thank you very much for doing this, and have a great day.
You too, Dick. Thank you very much, and it was my pleasure. And I hope that we can do more of these together.
Okay, let Peter know we're done.
All right.